The story of our emotions is a story full of misunderstandings. To a large extent, we as humans are driven by our emotions. But many people aren't even aware of that, let alone understanding why we have emotions in the first place, what they are for, and how to influence and regulate them. Emotions drive us, but we also can influence our emotions. In fact, we should. Because if we don't regulate our emotions, something or someone else will. Our past, our previous experiences, other people, a partner, a boss, and so on. And because of this lack of understanding of what's actually happening within us emotionally, many people are even afraid of their emotions. Of course, mostly afraid of negative emotions, but sometimes even of positive ones. This fear of emotions and the lack of knowledge about how to deal with them in a healthy and helpful way leads many people to develop all kinds of, let's call them strategies, to somehow handle their emotions. Depending on the feeling, these strategies might include distraction, like doom scrolling, binge watching shows, numbing, using substances, overcompensation with excessive exercise or work, or simply suppressing and ignoring emotions altogether. Some of these strategies work better than others. Some are more socially accepted, other less. But overall, many people see negative emotions as something annoying, something that should just go away or be made disappear, something they have no control over. They have experienced emotion as something that appears out of nowhere, something that overwhelms them, something they feel helpless against, something they can even get lost in. And that can be extremely painful, sometimes even physically. And if that's how you experience your emotions, then of course it's unsettling, even frightening. So, why do we have emotions? Generally speaking, emotions are signals pointing to our needs. But before we get into more complex emotions like joy, happiness, anger, or sadness, let's start with something simple and relatable. Basic physical emotions like hunger and tiredness. So, we feel hunger, we notice our stomach growling, and the underlying need is food. Or we feel tired, our body becomes heavy, our eyes want to close, and the underlying need is sleep. So we have a kind of system, a label for the feeling, like hunger, tiredness, a physical sensation, stomach growling, heavy eyelids, and an underlying need, food, sleep. The physical sensation is basically the signal our body sends us. Usually the longer we ignore the need, the stronger the signal becomes. But, and most people know this, if you're out somewhere and you don't have access to food, at some point the hunger signal may actually fade. Or if you're tired at night, you can become active again. For example, at a party, the feeling of tiredness can temporarily disappear. But in both cases, the need is still there. Your body still wants food, it still wants sleep. It just stops sending strong signals. If this happens occasionally, it's not a big deal. You eat later, you go to bed later. But if it happens regularly, the connection between feeling, physical sensation, and need can become disrupted. That's also why many people have structured routines for eating and sleeping. Meeting your needs before they become urgent signals actually makes a lot of sense. For example, it reduces stress on the body, which prevents a whole chain of negative emotional and physical side effects. So again, we have a label for a feeling, a physical sensation that signals it, and an underlying need that ideally should be met. And even this relatively simple system can become misaligned, so that the body's signals are no longer reliable, or the need is still there, but no signal is being sent. To be continued in the next part. Quick preview. What influences emotions, our thoughts, our sensory perceptions, other emotions. And key skills include being able to describe them, being able to name them, and being able to express them appropriately.